You're listening to the Red Book Show on Wexford New People's Movement Radio. We are running a competition here in studio, and Tony is inundated. I've been told people can even hear him texting in the background. He's absolutely getting hammered there on the phone lines. Our prize tonight is 5 collectible books from or about James Joyce. All you have to do is text us in on WhatsApp at 089 417 9972, 089 417 9972, and tell us if you've read Ulysses, and if you haven't, why haven't you? And just text us in anything really, and we'll pick out a winner at the end of the show. Now we're joined in studio by Wexford poet and playwright Mary Beary. Mary, delighted to have you here.
Hey, Beary.
Hello, how are you, Wally, and God, I'm nearly forgetting your name now, Steve, and Tony. Thank you so much for having me here. It's great to be here now, and your radio and all is just amazing. I wish you all the best with your programmes.
Well, it's great to have you here, Mary. You are the
you.
author, of course, of Healing, The Long Road Back, and now you've written a play called He'd Folly a Stone, which is going to debut in the Wexford Arts Centre on the 7th of July, right?
9th.
The 9th of July.
9th
Oh,
and
God.
10th.
The 9th and 10th of July. Brilliant. And tickets are available?
Tickets are available on the Arts Centre website.
Brilliant.
So, it's run for 2 nights, and there will be 2 plays. My one is called He'd Folly a Stone, and Paul Hughes is called Shattered Reflection. Sorry.
Great.
Yeah.
Another great.
And they're both based on addiction. You know,
Brilliant.
so
Brilliant.
well worth seeing, and they're both going to be run for charities.
Okay.
Both plays. Paul's charity will be Ashiree
Brilliant.
Addiction Centre out in Drina, and mine will be for Man Up, which is in Wexford Town, and
great.
which was the
organisation.
brainchild of Mark Ennis and Dean O'Neill, and Phil Smith also helps out there.
Yeah.
So I picked those because when they started up, I remember some of us here in Red Books used to go for walks when they were beginning their journey, and I just thought it was great for what they were going to try and do with men's mental health, and everything that surrounds that. Because as we know, I think maybe the men's mental health, they suffer a lot, maybe more. They're not able to come forward, to speak about their feelings. And
if we take it back to the start, because really your play is so grounded in that. Do you want to go back to the start and tell us how you came to write the poetry and the play? Yeah.
Well, the book was my son Martin. He died in 2016. He was 33, and he died from a heroin overdose. Well, it was heroin and mixed with other drugs. This was his 2nd time overdosing. He survived the first one, and he was left with a small bit of a brain injury, which was short-term memory loss, and he had a badly damaged arm. So I became his carer then, and that was tough, trying to look after a 33-year-old man like. But look, we got through it all, and he did okay. Like, he moved back in to live with me, because he couldn't be out in a flat, on his own sort of. So we puddled, we muddled along through that, and he was okay. He decided he wanted to go into rehab, which I couldn't believe, So he did go in now he only stayed for 6 weeks. He went to Cunwara up in Kildare. Now it was very tough, it was very tough up there, and he really struggled now. There was like, I visited him on family days, and when I'd look around and see the crowd that were there, these were big boyos, like, and he sort of was lost in between them. You know what I mean? But look, it's fair play to him. He did go, and he stayed for those 6 weeks, and he came out then. Whether he had, I was very doubtful that he really was going to make a good go of life when he came out. Knowing the way he was, Martin was very vulnerable,
Yeah.
very easily led. You know, he hadn't got literally no confidence in himself, you know. And he would be very used. People would use him.
Yeah.
And that's the way he was all his life, you know.
Mm.
And, you know, when I look back now, lads, like Martin was born in 1982. Now, back then, like I've no doubt now when I look back that Martin would have had ADHD, maybe he had a touch of dyslexia, maybe a bit of autism.
Yeah.
But back then, lads, it was very hard. There was no help back then.
There was no
It's
mention.
different now.
help.
There's
Yeah.
you know, there's a lot of help for children. But
Yeah.
back then there was no help, lads, you know.
Yeah.
If you had a child that was sort of like that and very, very vulnerable. So you know, it was tough going. It was tough going with him, you know.
And is that where the name for the play comes from then? He'd follow you stone?
It is.
Yeah.
It's strange because I was trying to think of a name for the play and I could not think of one.
Yeah.
And the lady that's directing my play, Rachel Meadows, we were talking there one night in my house and I just happened to say, oh Rachel, I said my Martin would follow you stone. That's the name of the play.
Yeah.
And it was just brilliant,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But I just didn't think, you know, that this could be the name of the play, like.
That's how titles happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just thought I couldn't get a better you know, to call him to play anything else, only that he'd follow you stone.
Wexford.
And so Wexford, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah,
Wexford.
yeah.
So that was brilliant. That's where we got the name, and I was delighted with that. And where the play came from, I think it was about a year ago. A man called Paul Hughes, which he has a Paul Hughes, Amigo Productions. Sorry, lads, I'm a little bit nervous
No,
here.
I understand.
Amigo
You're
Productions. He
Yeah.
runs Amigo Productions, and
Yeah.
he's just a very gifted man.
He is.
I
He
really am in
definitely is.
awe of him.
Yeah.
Like he's a great actor, and he's just great at what he does.
He's a great guy.
He's
Yeah.
great,
Yeah.
and he had asked a few people for stories. So I had wrote this little story about Martin, you know,
Yeah.
about different scenarios, and I gave it to him, like, and he got back to me in a few weeks then, and he said, look Mary, I think I could do something with this, you know. And I said, oh, that's brilliant, you know. So that's where it started from.
Yeah.
And so now it's going to be shown now in July, which I can't believe, you know.
Oh,
And
that's
you know,
wonderful.
it's brilliant, like. So, and for me, lads, you know, people might say, oh, why is she doing this, lads, you know, why is she doing this and all. And first of all, the reason I wrote my book, number one, because I was so angry, I was grieving, I was bloody wanting to kill people, you know. And I used to just write down. Now, back then I was never thinking I was a poet or anything. I was just writing down little little rhymes, throwing them under my bed,
That's how you become a poet.
you know. And I
Yeah.
said, Jesus, I'm gonna write that now. I'd be always thinking, you know,
Yeah.
about, you know, grief and loss and drugs and drug
Yeah.
dealers and
Yeah.
you know, all these things. So I was actually attending bereavement counselling in Clonard, and the lady on the night, you know, she started speaking about poetry and that we should write down our feelings, how we feel and all.
Yeah.
I said, I write down little rhymes, I said, about how I'm feeling. So, she said, bring him in, Mary, and we'll have a look at him. And I brought him in, and the group looked at him and said, you know, would you not think of doing something with these, you know?
Yeah.
I said, God, I don't know. I said, like, my son died from a heroin overdose, you know. I said, look, there's a lot of people that would know that, but then there's a lot of people that wouldn't know. So I spoke to my dad, and he said, look, if you want to do this, Mary, go ahead and do it. And I did, and it's the best thing I ever done.
It was a brave thing, and
Yeah.
very important for other people who were in a
Yeah.
similar situation,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Because it spoke to an awful lot of people.
It did, and there's a lot of people suffering, lads. I mean, I knew women now, in particular, who would have daughters or sons that were like drug addicts or alcoholics, but they found it very difficult to speak about it. You know, the sense of shame you feel, you know.
Yeah. Oh, shame is
It's
just a killer.
terrible, because like I was, you know, people used to say to me, well, some people now, I didn't know Mark was a heroin addict, you know. And by Jesus, I felt like, you know, hitting my box.
I know.
You know, it's not nice to hear. You know, and I used to say, Jesus, like, was he a heroin addict? And I used to be looking back, and I used to sort of say to myself, like, he wasn't on drugs every day. you know.
There's such
But
yeah.
it's very hard to get your head around it.
There's such a difference between
You
what
know.
somebody's experiencing on the inside
Yeah,
and maybe drugs, heroin or something. They're experiencing it. They're experiencing the struggle with it. And
Yeah.
somebody on the outside just has a label for it and a categorization. And then all of a sudden the person collapses into like
yeah,
a single dimension.
yeah. It's now as well as now I mean I was shocked when I heard what he died of. You know, I really was. I mean, I knew that he would have been taken. I probably thought little bees and you know, small drugs, like, you know.
Yeah.
But that was a big shock for me now when I heard heroin. I even questioned the doctor. Are you sure? You know, because
Yeah.
like, you know, you'd be, oh, my son wouldn't take heroin. You know, but the age we're living in now, lads, is just, you know, I watched a documentary on television there about 2 weeks ago, prime time.
Uh-huh.
And they were it was all about drugs and drug pushing and all. I think it was, they were doing it based on Dublin, and they had videos, like, you know, of children from 8 years of age, lads, and they were peddling drugs,
Oh.
or whatever you call them, runners. I was shocked.
Yeah.
Little children. I mean, I have an 8-year-old granddaughter, and they were going off with the drugs, selling them, and they nab them from so young now.
Yeah.
They nab them from so young, you know.
It's a sophisticated industry now, isn't it? And
It's a
it's just
nightmare.
a misery industry.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
you know something, lads, it's heartbreaking, you know. It's really heartbreaking now.
And there's more
And-
and more of it coming onto the market. There's,
Oh my
I
God.
mean, we've seen it in this own, and I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
every town in Ireland has seen it,
Yeah,
where young people in particular are taking drugs to deal with the mental health crisis. Tranix was a huge problem with that. We now have blow on the street, which is, yeah, it's such a dangerous drug.
yeah,
And it is, there's anxiety that you talked about. Martin was born in 1982, I was born in 1981, and it was, we didn't have those terms when we were growing up. We didn't have it in the school, but we also didn't have the level of anxiety that young people in particular have now.
oh God.
There's
yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
suffering.
Yes.
As people,
There is.
people want to get relief from their suffering.
Yeah,
and
there,
they don't know how
and there's
to
a
do
lot of families now, lads, that are really broken with all
Yeah.
this, you know.
Yeah.
With I mean, I know young girls of 14 that suffer from anxiety,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's heartbreaking, like. But even to get them help, it's shocking. I
Yeah.
mean, when my Martin, right, was deciding to go into an addiction centre, I thought, that's great, I'll ring up now. I thought you ring up and you get in straight away. My God, you do not. You have to nearly beg for them to take him in. They have to be off drugs. And then they questioned whether to take him because he had the bit of a forgetfulness. And I had to, Conmore was my last hope, and I had to literally beg the nun to take him in. You know, and they did take him in, you know. But that's the way it was. And I mean, he suffered with his mental health, lads. There is no help for people with mental health issues in our country.
And why do you think that is, Mary? I know when they closed down the old style Victorian institutions, they talked about care in the community, but what is care in the community?
No,
it's
lads.
Don't
it's
There's none.
non-existent.
You go to the doctor, right? You're suffering from depression. You know,
Yeah.
you're depressed. You're down.
Yeah.
You have mood swings. You go to the doctor. The doctor will probably prescribe you, excuse me, antidepressants. I've done it myself, lads. I suffer from depression. I went to the doctor, right?
Yeah.
They will make an appointment for you to attend Summerhill. You might not get that appointment for 3 months. I have a friend who was in that situation, and he had to wait 3 months to get an appointment to go and see about his mental health. Now, he ended up going to Watford, you know, Watford Psychiatric Unit. And even there, he said, he found them very, very unhelpful. They were so unhelpful. He said all they did was stuff him with tablets. Stuff him with tablets.
They just want a quick solution.
They didn't even care whether he
Yeah.
had eaten, you know.
Yeah.
And that's the reality of things now, lads. I mean, that's the reality of things. There is no help for young men and young women with their mental health, so they are turning to addiction, to drugs, to
Yeah.
gambling, to alcohol. You know?
The society is not built for the purpose of people being healthy anymore. It's not. And I guess it's a difficult, complex issue,
yeah.
but the society is not holding up its end
No,
at all.
no, it's not.
Yeah.
And as Wally was talking about that snow, I was just actually reading up about it today. Snowblow, you know, it's a slang word for cocaine, and it's a potent central nervous system stimulant, you know, and they get the sudden rush of euphoria, elevated moods, heightened energy, but then they also get aggressive. They've racing heartbeats, you know.
Yeah.
They have dehydration, mental health episodes.
Yeah.
So like, there's a downside to everything, you know.
There is, yeah.
I mean, you're feeling on top of the world, and then you're coming down,
Yeah.
and you're aggressive. You're probably suicidal, and all these things, lads. You know, all these things. It makes me really angry now. I mean, I get so angry, and I mean, I'm angry with the government. I'm angry the way things are run.
Yeah.
The stigma with mental health is still here. It's still here, lads,
Yeah,
in our
is,
town and country.
It is unfortunately, and that's something that Martin growing up with would have had to experience a lot more. But you're right, it is still here. It hasn't disappeared.
No.
And like you say, you're angry with the government, and I can certainly understand that. What do you think it is? Because every year we're expected to take a little bit more, aren't we? We now we're grown accustomed to people sleeping on the streets in Dublin. Now we've grown accustomed to people sleeping on the streets in rural towns and villages. We've grown accustomed to children sleeping in cars and going to school from that car. We've grown accustomed to having no mental health beds and people having to basically self-medicate with illegal drugs.
This is it, Wally.
What would you say to the government?
You see, I've always thought that children as young as maybe 7, 8, it should be spoken about in schools.
Yeah.
I think you have to catch children young, and I've always believed that. There's no use going to a school with 18-year-olds and telling them about the dangers of alcohol and drugs. They're probably already in it.
They're already in it.
So I do think, lads, I mean, that children from 8 years up, my granddaughter is 8, and I think she, I've often spoke to her about drugs, like, but I think they should learn this in school.
Yeah.
You have to start when they're children, lads.
Yeah,
you know.
I agree.
And I think that's I mean, even when all this started with me, when Martin passed and all, and when I did my book, myself and Father Billy O'Shea, we went around to a couple of the schools and we gave talks. But now there were some of the schools like that never got back to us.
Never acknowledged.
They never acknowledge us. Yeah. You know, I won't mention the schools, but they, you know, I said to Father Billy, they never got back to us. So, you know, they must think, oh well, we don't have that in our school. Drugs are in every school in Ireland, lads. They're in every sports hall. They're everywhere. I mean, and it doesn't matter whether you're poor, whether you're rich, whether you're a solicitor, whether you're down and out. You know, it doesn't take preference to the people.
What kind of a response did you get from the schools you did go into?
I gave them all a book and I spoke about what had happened to Martin and excuse me, they seemed to be very interested, Wally, you know, about what I was saying. Yeah. I went to youth train and I found them very intrigued, like they were asking questions and I know some of them probably had their own issues, you know, with substance maybe or you know, alcohol or whatever, like, but they gladly listened, like. But you know something, lads, there's never going to not be drugs, lads. There's never going to not be alcoholics. There's never not going to be gamblers. Yeah. It's just not going to happen. And we can only try and prevent it. You know, we can only try and prevent it and help people. And if we can save some people, sure, isn't it worth doing all this, like? Yeah. You know?
If you can give someone some hope. You know, I was looking at the title of your book, for example, and I was going to ask you how you came up with it, because when I see healing, behind that I see hope. That's the word behind the word that you read. And then I see the wrong road back. I see no easy answers. and the word answers is in plural, right?
Yeah.
So everybody's gonna find a different way back,
Yeah.
but it's not gonna be easy.
No, and like,
Yeah.
look, as everyone knows, lads, we've all lost people. You know, some of us have lost our children, and it's a long road. Not that you ever get back anywhere, but you have to try, and you know, you will carry your grief with you through your whole life. You
Yeah.
know, I suppose the grief changes. You know what I mean? You learn to carry it in your heart and bring it forward with you.
Yeah. But,
That's the way you have to. That's the way I do it. You know.
yeah.
Because life doesn't stop.
No, it
You know,
doesn't stop.
I mean, life doesn't stop. You still have to live. You may have other children. You know, you've grandchildren. You might have a husband,
Yeah.
partner. You have to try and move on.
You have to do it.
But you also need to take your days when you want to maybe be by yourself. You know, you want to have your cry. You want to talk about
Yeah.
your loved one.
Yeah.
And it's very important that these people are listened to as well.
Yeah.
You know. So that's my outlook on sort of things. You know.
It occurred to me, would you like to read one or two of your poems?
I will if it,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, look, I know people probably have heard my poems before, and well, let's see now. Some of them were let's see now. There was one here. Sorry.
Oh, you take your time.
I have to hold it out like that because I forgot my glasses.
Oh,
Like in the book, look, there's a lot of different poems about everything. I'm going to read this one about grief. I mean, look, we've all had grief, you know.
Yeah.
It came upon you like a thief in the night, like a cruel master that has taken your fight. The pain that you feel as you try to hold on. Your days are a blur and your nights are so long. Your body is weak and your heart is so cold as reality hits you and grief takes a hold. You struggle to cope and try not to let go of the anger you feel that can take you so low. So try to have hope, to be strong and stay true to that feeling of grief that came out of the blue. Only time can help heal if we look for a way to live life again and embrace each new day.
thank you.
That's beautiful, Mary.
So yeah, so that's the grief, and some of them now were some of the, like I wrote this one now. This one is called The Shame of Drugs, you know, because I'm sure people that have addiction problems, you know, they must go through all scenarios in their minds and in so much turmoil as well, you know. It's called The Shame of Drugs. Is the weight of the world on your shoulders as you struggle through each day? Is there no one you can talk to try and help you find a way? Have you reached for those stars too high? Did you not think things through? Now you can see no way out and you're wondering, what can I do? Will my family understand and stand by me, or will they just walk away? Have I let them down so badly? How can I face another day? Please help me to find the strength to face up to what I've done. I need my family's support now. Or do I hide, or do I run? These questions go round and round. My head is so full of pain. I'm struggling to get through this, and life has become such a strain. Please God help me to be strong and face another day. I've got to face this future. In this life I have to stay.
Thank you. That was
Thank you,
beautiful
Mary.
too.
Thank you. So,
Did you find writing the poems? Did you write poems before all of this?
I think I've often asked myself that I in school I loved writing stories. You know,
Okay.
I loved writing
Yeah.
stories, and I had an uncle who had a really bad accident, and I wrote a poem about him.
Okay.
So,
okay.
and then when my sister passed, I wrote a beautiful poem about her,
Yeah.
and I put it in the church, in
Yeah.
the church, and everyone took it. So basically, just that, you know.
So you find
Um,
poems are a way of dealing with grief, or
I do.
something bad happens.
I do. All your thoughts and all, you know, and
Yeah.
you know, I write them down, like. But you know, when I read the book then and I read the poems, you know, I said, you know, these poems are like how I feel.
Yeah.
You know, they're how I feel at the minute. I still feel like that, but
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah,
saying,
yeah.
I was so angry, I wanted to just, I wanted answers, but you don't really ever get answers, lads. You can't blame anyone. Even though I did in the beginning, I blamed this fella, that fella. I mean, my son was a grown man. But the reason I did the book and the play, it was because of the way he was. I mean, people that are out there that have sons or daughters or children that are vulnerable, that are easily led, that would follow a stone, you just have to be so careful with these children
Yeah, yeah.
because they will be used if they fall into the wrong crowd, and that's exactly what happened to him,
Yeah.
But
And
yeah,
maybe that's it. Like your poems are so authentically personal, but at the same, they're so general to people. So many people can understand what you're feeling when they read that poem
Yeah.
because they're feeling the same thing.
Exactly,
or
Wally.
they're experiencing
I'm
the same thing.
I'm only an ordinary mother from Wexford here, and a lot of people would know me.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of mothers now who have recently lost children in from mostly from drugs.
Yeah.
And it's terrible, and it's just not getting any better. And I made it a point when Martin was buried. I said it to the priest, I want you to speak about Martin. I want you to speak about the elephant in the room, which is drugs, is what he died for. And he gave the sermon, and he included that speech in the mass. And I could see people looking at each other going, oh my God, he's actually talking about the drugs. Mary will go mad.
Yeah.
But I asked him to do that.
Yeah.
There's no point in sitting there saying, oh well, yeah, Martin died of a heart attack. He died from taking drugs and it stopped his heart. Simple as that,
Yeah. And you put something out there, and everybody's within their own sort of, no, I don't want to use a trendy word like silo, but they're sort of in their own place, not talking to other people that are also in the same place, and they don't even know it.
I know.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I always had, lads,
Yeah.
I talk to anyone.
Yeah.
And something that's really, I mean, that saved me. I mean, and I've great faith. I mean, and I got that from my father, Danny. I always had great faith, lads. And I feel sorry for people that don't have any faith.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe in heaven and hell. I believe in going to see my son again, my dad again, my sister again, my mum again. And that is what, keeps me sort of ticking over.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I'm lucky that I have that. And I would talk anywhere. I would tell my story. I'll tell my story to a stranger. I don't get embarrassed anymore. I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed of Martin, like,
Yeah. That's,
so
never be ashamed.
people need to know, because there's thousands of people in my situation,
Absolutely.
but they're
yeah.
ashamed to talk about it.
Yeah.
They say everybody has one book in them. Would you think writing even as a form of mindfulness it's something that can, I mean, it's helped you cope with this?
Do you know something, lads? Yeah, I believe everyone and anyone can be a poet. I mean, you can sit, you have so many things going through your mind, and especially if something significant happens in your life.
Yeah.
I mean, you can sit down and you can write about that.
Yeah.
If you're feeling angry and you might be words coming into your mind, you can sit down and put them into a little poem.
Yeah.
They don't have to rhyme.
Yeah.
They're your feelings.
That's right.
And I got relief from writing that,
Yeah.
because I was going around like a mad woman.
Yeah.
And I'd write them because I couldn't sleep, so I used to write them and throw them under the bed. And here I am, and the book went out. It did great. I got great feedback. I got books into all the addiction centres all over Ireland. I got them into all the GA clubs. They all got free books. Anyone that would take a book, I got them into. And which, I said, if that book can save one person can say, look, I might get help now, or I might try and speak about this. Job done.
When you speak out, you get support from all kinds of unexpected places.
I do.
Yeah. And that gives you something to give back.
Yes.
To support other people.
And even now with I'm very excited about the two plays, and I really hope that we get 2 full packed nights.
Yeah.
Because this, lads, I mean, the tickets are €15 and €18, right? Now, I mean, you're going to see 2 plays about 45, 50 minutes each, and what they're about
Well, that's great.
is
value.
affecting people like our children,
Yeah.
men, women, and children. So, like, I really do hope that it goes well. And Paul Hughes now will be making announcements about the cast now, maybe in the next week or 2.
Yeah.
And we will have spot prizes on the night.
Great.
As I said, the charities, I'm delighted with both the charities. Mark Ennis is so grateful that we have picked his charity. And Dean O'Neill, and Phil Smith. So yeah, I'm delighted. Now, don't get me wrong, lads. I mean, when I haven't seen the full play yet. I've seen bits of it. It's tough for me to listen to that. I mean, I cry.
Yeah.
You know, it's heartbreaking for me to watch it. You know, and it will be on the night to actually watch it. But it's something I want to do, and I will do it. Well, look, we're doing it now.
You've done it. Yeah.
And
You've done it.
hopefully,
Yeah.
I hope the 2 plays. I hope we'll travel with the plays. I hope they'll
Absolutely.
really do well.
Oh, that would be
And
amazing.
Wouldn't it be brilliant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My God, Martin always told me, Ma'am, I'll make you rich someday.
Well, there
But
you go.
look, the charities, you'll make the
Well,
charities rich,
yeah.
maybe, son.
Yeah.
Well, there you are, Mary. You're a published poet. Now you're a playwright. What's next?
Jesus.
Where do you go after
Well,
this?
I
Are
tell you-
working on anything?
I tell you what I am actually. I lost
Yeah.
my mum the end of January, and when she was 10, she was put into one of those schools. It was actually up in New Ross, Good Shepherd, and she used to tell us stories about it. Herself and her 2 older brothers were taken off the mother because the father, her father, had went into St. Sennans because he wasn't well, you know, and he never came out. So I said, "Jeez, now I'm going to write a book about that someday." So I've about 10 pages wrote, Wally.
Brilliant.
I haven't really got back into it yet because she died in January,
Yeah.
and you know, with everything happening, I just haven't sat down and wrote more. But I will finish that, Wally, and I'll see
That's great.
if I can do anything with it.
No,
Yeah.
you will.
You know,
I've
so, you know-
I've no doubt that you will.
Hopefully, I will.
I've no
you
doubt
know.
that you will.
Yeah.
So yeah, and lads, as I said, anyone can write a story, can write a poem. I mean, look, my poems are just all simple words. I'm not one who come out with these big words, like, because I wouldn't understand them.
Well, you can do
So they're just
profound
simple
things,
words,
simple
and they're from
words.
my heart, lads.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you know, a lot of people knew Martin, and you know, he was very well liked, lads. And I'm not only saying that.
Well, Mary, it's brilliant to have had you in here and
Thank you so
as
much for
always,
having me.
We're really happy you
You've
come
talked
in.
so bravely and you've talked so honestly.
Thank you.
So again, just remind all our listeners when the plays are on.
I will. The play will be on the 9th and 10th of July, 8 o'clock in Wexford Arts Centre,
Yeah. Okay.
and admission is 15 and €18,
All right.
and it won't be for charities.
Yeah.
Also, now that I will make a couple of videos on Facebook now, reminding people about that
Okay,
when it comes
yeah,
closer.
all right.
And another thing we will have, lads, I actually was able to get 2 Wexford jerseys,
Oh,
one from
fantastic.
the hurlers and one from the footballers. So they will be framed and they will be raffled online. Paul Hughes will look after that.
Brilliant.
So
brilliant.
like it'll be a lovely
Great.
prize
That'll
for
be
people.
up on Amigo Productions.
It will indeed, yeah.
Facebook page then.
It will indeed.
Yeah.
And Paul will
that's
be.
definitely one will be.
He
keeping
will
an eye
also
out
be
for.
going on to Southeast Radio as well to
Brilliant,
you know
brilliant.
to try and.
He might even come on with us. You never know.
Oh God, he surely
Yeah,
would.
get him
Yeah,
on.
He surely would.
yeah,
Wally would
yeah.
be great. And we will be having a launch night as well, Wally. I've no date for it yet. We'll be
But
doing a launch night.
That'll be up on Amigo.
It'll
Yeah.
all be there. So yeah.
And
So
we'll announce that on the show anyway.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And people can get tickets at the Arts
At the
Centre
Arts
or
Centre,
on
yes.
the Arts Centre's website.
Yes.
All right.
And thank you so
Yeah.
much, lads, for having me.
Oh,
Thank you.
And,
When you're not
um,
leaving yet, you'll be back with us after the break.
Oh, I will.
as
I'm
well.
Yeah.
still here.
So we're going to come back after the break and we're going to talk about another strong woman, Nora Barnacle. Before that, I just got a message from our producer, Tony. There seems to be an awful lot of entries coming in for the James Joyce books,
Oh,
which is
great.
very good. So we'll have a look through them. We mightn't be able to announce the winner tonight, he says, just because we're being inundated with messages, which is great news.
Oh, fantastic.
You've gone viral again, Steve. So we're going to have a bit of music now, and it's going to be another song from Rachel Grace, and this is
From
quite
a new CD.
from our new CD. called, and this is quite like you. Back, is the Red Book Show, broadcasting across the world on Wexford New People's Movement Radio. We've just had Mary Beary on with some powerful stuff there. And you'll be able to listen to it again later on Spotify or YouTube, as you can with all our previous shows. Steve, is this number 6?
Number 6.
Number 6, and we're
Yeah.
still going. Tony hasn't taken us off the air yet.
Close.
Close. Now, just to let you know about an event coming up this Friday night in Red Books Underground in Eclectic Avenue, we have our monthly Outspoken, which is a spoken word open mic. We'll be joined at the start by David Luby, who will be interviewed by Tina Callahan, 2 great Wexford writers, about his new book, and that'll be followed by some great poetry, spoken word and music from all the guys, including Steve and hopefully Mary. So 7 o'clock next Friday night in Red Books Underground in Eclectic Avenue. Now, as it's Bloomsday, we have a couple of quotes from Ulysses. So Steve and Mary are going to read out a few here.
Every life is many days, day after day. We walk through ourselves, meeting robbers, ghosts, giants, old men, young men, wives, widows, brothers-in-law, but always meeting ourselves.
Great.
And I'll read this one now. And when all was said and done, the lies a fellow told about himself couldn't probably hold a proverbial candle to the wholesome whoppers other fellows comment about him. Coined about him, sorry.
That's
Coined
really
about
true,
him.
isn't it?
Yeah, I actually like that one.
Yeah. And it just goes to show you all the stuff that's in Ulysses. It's a big, big book with a lot of ideas. We have been asking you to text in for our competition to WhatsApp Tony at 089 417 9972, 089 417 9972, and we've been inundated with messages. So we will announce the winner later tonight on Facebook. We'll confer after the show. But thanks to everyone who sent in a message if they've read Ulysses or why they haven't read it. And we're getting a lot of mixed messages in about this book. Now, we were talking off air about, obviously, Mary is a very strong woman. We have a lot of strong women that perform at Outspoken and many other events. We had the first of the women's Women Let Loose shows on Wexford New People's Movement Radio last night with Deirdre, Jill and Alice, 3 very strong women. Another very strong woman was Nora Barnacle. Are you familiar with Nora Barnacle, Steve?
I'm not extremely familiar. I know that she was married to James Joyce. Yeah.
Well, Nora Barnacle was the muse, lover, wife and minder of James Joyce. She was born in a Galway workhouse in 1884. In 1903, she moved to Dublin to work as a chambermaid after her uncle discovered that she was having an affair with a Protestant.
God.
Steve, I don't know if you know
Wow.
much about 1903 in Ireland. You don't go having an affair with a Protestant. That's a no-no.
No.
Even when I grew up in Missouri, this was the early 60s, right? I went to a very conservative Catholic school, and we
Okay.
called the public schools the Protestant schools. And there was some sort of like, I don't know, it was like some kind of distancing between Catholics and Protestants in Webster Groves, Missouri, which I found in retrospect to be
Wow.
kind of bizarre.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
bizarre. Gladly, we've moved on a
Yeah.
bit from
Yeah,
that anyway.
yeah.
But Nora met James Joyce on the 10th of June 1904, and they had their first romantic liaison on the 16th of June. Now, they were supposed to have it on the 14th of June. Joyce turned up to meet her, but he failed to recognise her because his eyesight was so bad. And he got very depressed and sent her a telegram. And then he realised that she had been there, but he just hadn't seen her.
Ah.
So their first date, they went for a stroll down the harbour to Ringsend. Joyce was a little bit shy, so Nora took the initiative. And, well, they'd done a bit of kissing, and then Nora masturbated James Joyce. Steve, can you
TMI.
believe
God.
that? Can you
TMI.
believe
Jill,
that?
straight away.
TMI alert.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
He knows later that she made him a man. Now, the reason I have to say that is because of what an effect it had on James Joyce. As we know from his love letters to Nora and the stuff that he would write in Ulysses later, this was a major defining moment in the life of young James Joyce. Obviously, he was overcome by Nora because he would say his genre-defining novel, that post-modern work of brilliance, on the day of their first walkout together.
Yep.
16th of June, was it?
Yeah, the 16th of June 1904.
The day he wouldn't forget.
Yeah.
But as with that little relationship on the 16th of June, Nora was always the dominant character in the relationship, something that historians refused to recognise until the last 10 years or so. She was the one who managed their meagre finances. They moved all across Europe, and she was the one who had to do all the work and all the arrangements. She had to look after his health, particularly in later years. She had to look after his tendency to overspend, which he always did. He gambled, he drank too much, and she often had to actually physically remove him from bars, just go in and drag him out by the ear.
What a woman. What a woman.
Yeah.
I know some women who still do that today. You know, they go and drag the husbands out of the pub.
Yeah.
But
I know
wow,
a few
she
of those
was
myself.
some woman I would have liked to have known her now.
Yeah.
She sounds amazing.
Well, she never read any of his books, and she sometimes even disparaged them. She had an extreme dislike for academia and for the arts establishment. But she anchored Joyce's turbulent life and his brilliant genius, and she kept him sane. Like, I suppose critics of Nora claim that she was ignorant, that she wasn't well read. She left school when she was 12, and that she shouldn't have been with, you know,
A man like him.
I think that's called snobbery.
That is snobbery.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
she, in return, felt that the intellectuals who worshipped James Joyce were fake and vulgar, and she didn't want anything to do with him.
Yeah.
Some said they were unsuited, but Nora was just an equal to Joyce in storytelling, but through an oral tradition.
Yeah.
She had an incredible turn of phrase and a great sense of humour, and she had that kind of Galway rural way about her, you know.
She was a Galway girl. Yeah.
She was a Galway girl.
A Galway girl.
Yeah.
And she blew Joyce away for all his failings. He always worshipped Nora. He told his brother Stannis that Nora's disposition was nobler than his own, and that he didn't just love her, he admired and trusted her.
That lovely.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lovely love story, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know,
It is.
they're both so she minded him.
Yeah.
She looked after him. You know.
Yeah.
And he
And they
worshipped
had
her.
they had a lot of problems. Their daughter had a lot of mental health issues. They you know, they Choice was constantly getting into debt. He was in very bad health, but they stayed together, and they didn't get married until 1931, and she outlived Joyce in the end. And there's a great story of after he died, of somebody handing her a first edition Ulysses, and you know, there you go, and Nora turning to somebody in the audience beside her and saying, "How much will you give me for this?" So
Wow.
and she was famously quoted as saying, "I don't know whether my husband is a genius or not, but he certainly has a dirty mind." And that about sums it up. But it's only in recent years that Nora has been, I suppose since the turn of the century, that she's coming into her own, and that people realise, you know, I know Nuala O'Connor has written about her, and of course one of the books that we're giving away in our draw tonight
One of the
is
prizes
is
Nora.
Brenda Maddox's book on Nora. So, but I think that pretty much concludes our Bloomsday.
Yeah,
event.
It's been an adventure.
It's been an adventure. So
Yeah.
Steve, come off the fence now and tell us straight out, have you read Ulysses or not?
I've read the book, but I haven't finished it.
Tony, does that
I'm
sound
right with
like
you.
a
Hand
cop
on your
out to you?
heart. Hand on your heart now,
I'm
Steve.
being honest.
Steve will make a great politician.
Yeah. We'll vote for you in the next election, Steve. I haven't read it now,
I'm
but
gonna-
I will read it.
If I'm in an election,
Yeah.
I'm going to run
No
for the city
one-
limits.
Yeah, you know, like I would never really have known about Nora and this,
Yeah.
but after listening, you know, about her and about their relationship, I think it's brilliant. I would
Yeah.
love to, I would
Yeah.
love to read about them.
Yeah, they were
I would,
two
yeah.
larger than life characters.
Yeah, fabulous characters. Yeah.
So,
Bless 'em.
Tony, what's coming up this week on Wexford New People's Movement Radio? Because I know you're adding shows all the time. You have more shows on now than RTE.
Tomorrow night is Pat Lambert with his The Hump night, which we have a special guest on tomorrow night. I'll make an announcement tomorrow.
It was a brilliant one last week with Margaret Galvin.
Yeah.
It was a great show.
I'm looking for then Thursday. Jamie T can't make it on Thursday,
He's
so
gonna
he's
do it
going
on
out
Friday.
Friday morning, 12 until 1.
Yeah.
But Thursday night then is the AI group again. It's Connect Again. Tony Welsh and anyway, the two guys are presenting anyway. Friday then is Jamie T at 12 to 1. I'll be back on Friday night, 7
Who's
to
Jamie
9.
T special guest this week, Tony? I heard he had a very special guest on this week.
He didn't say.
Oh, he told me though.
He told you and he told
It's-
Molly.
it's
He told me.
me.
He
It's
had
me.
to tell me because I'm the guest.
I wasn't told.
Okay.
We say nothing. Then Saturday.
And we have you on Friday night,
I'll be on Friday night, 7 to 9.
And that's
with
the
Wexford
local
and Irish
Wexford and
indie
Irish.
show. And then Saturday is Shane Hurley with the Nerd Out with Nerd Up.
Brilliant.
And then at 2 o'clock till 3, it's
I think the Nerd Out, Nerd Up show is a special Other Worlds
probably.
episode this
Probably.
week.
Again, I'm not told these things.
'Cause
until
we're only a
last
week.
minute, you know what I mean?
A week and a half out to Other Worlds now.
And then Art and Culture Hour then from Andy McGarry and Pippa Keenan. And then
Brilliant.
Sunday will be Persons Unknown with Rory and Millie. Oh, listening to that, lads, these two guys are really hot with the local band scene with the young people.
They're really
Hello,
good.
Foley.
I've heard another radio station has tried to poach him. They're so
Yeah. We won't talk about that one.
Yeah.
That's about it for the rest of the week.
And you're on Sunday night as
I'm
well.
on Sunday night as well with the Overseas Indie Show.
And then we have the Cafe Modern on Monday.
Cafe Modern on Monday. Ash Bracken will be on Saturday.
Bracken will be on
3 to
Saturday.
4
Oh,
with
great,
a couple
great.
of fuckle. If you want
Yeah.
to start learning Irish, place to be is New People's Movement Radio on Saturday afternoon, 3 to 4. Well, all day really, from 12 until 4. There'll be 3 great shows on, I'm sure.
And Women Let Loose is on Monday.
Women
night
Let
at
Loose
7
on
o'clock.
Monday night from 7 until 8. The lads
That
are
is-
tweaking the last Monday's show, and hopefully it'll be better.
That's brilliant, Tony. It's
Yeah.
brilliant. It's growing
It's
all
going,
the
there's
time.
13 shows now
You've done Trojan work.
and we're only started 2 months.
Oh
So
wow.
it's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Watch this space.
Watch this space.
Yeah.
More coming online.
By the autumn, I can see slots being at a premium.
Well, there's 3. Hopefully now there's 3 new shows. There will be 3 new shows, 2 classic rock shows, and there's a punk program going out as well. Hopefully, John hasn't been told yet, but he's going to be doing it anyway. John Oldham down in
Brilliant.
what's this one? I can never think of that man's business.
Hellfish.
For that. Hellfish Trading.
Yeah.
That's it. Down the Bullring Market. He's always there Friday and Saturday. Give him a shout.
God,
Tell him I was asking
it's,
for him.
it's brilliant, Tony. I really hope you don't start. I really hope you don't start selling advertising, or some of the established media might be worried.
No, we don't advertise nothing.
An advertising
We give a
free
few things a plug, but
community
never
radio
Yeah,
station.
yeah.
That's what it is.
That's
what it
It's
is.
a community radio station, always will be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Well
Well,
done, huh?
I know on Saturday Shane is on with Nerd Out with Nerd Up. It's going to be an Otherworld Science Fiction Festival special. The Otherworld Science Fiction Festival is taking place in Wexford town from the
Really looking
25th,
forward to it.
Thursday
Yeah.
the 25th to Sunday the 28th. I
Yeah.
know Steve will have an event at it. There's
Yeah.
going to be all sorts of events. We
Yeah.
have some world-class orders down. Among them Owen Colfer and Stuart Neville,
Yeah.
test selling orders, and we'll have people from all sorts of genres and all sorts of roll top, playing game, everything will be there.
yeah.
And Shane's going to go into detail with that. I think we might have a bit of a sci-fi special next Tuesday night
We'll
Steve.
get it going.
And
Yeah.
we'll talk about it. Thanks again to Mary Beary for coming
Thank you,
in
Mary.
and
Thank you, lads,
talk
for
us
having
up
me.
candidly.
Thank
And
you.
you can get your tickets for Mary's play, The Double Bill now, which will be on the 9th and 10th of July in Wexford Arts Centre. The tickets are available, but they won't last us, so get in and get them now.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. €18 for 2 plays.
It's a great deal.
You wouldn't get that anywhere else. Thanks to Tony in production here. He's
Thank
in
you,
here
Tony.
every day and every night now. And but
Still looking
it's-
for
it's-
presenters and
it's
still looking for
appreciated.
producers. To
It's
train
appreciated,
up.
Tony. It's
If anybody
appreciated.
wants to do it, give us a shout.
You can listen to the Red Book Show on Spotify and YouTube, and we will be joining more platforms
Mixcloud as
very
well.
soon. And Mixcloud, brilliant! I didn't even know about that. So we're growing all the time.
Yeah.
We'll have the results of our draw for the James Joyce packages up on social media tonight. Thank you to
Yeah,
Steve here,
thank you,
Professor
Wally.
Steve Unicky.
You're the man.
And,
Yeah.
and we'll see you all next week from 7 to 9 p.m.
All right. Good night, all.
Good night, all.
Good night, all.